Hello, dear student. Firstly, I introduced myself. I am Dr. Mukta Rajaram Bhambre, Assistant Professor from Department of Botany, KTHM College, Nasik. Today, we are going to teach here the course Taxonomy of Angiosperm and Plant Ecology, class SYBSc. The name of the chapter is the ecological grouping of plants and topic hydrophytes. So the student, this chapter is belonging to the credit number 2nd according to your university syllabus. So the session agenda of today's lecture, introduction, in which we will focus here the hydrophytes. What are the hydrophytes? What are the habitats? Then major groups of plants, hydrophytes, the characters of hydrophytes, then various groups of hydrophytes, adaptive external feature in a hydrophytes regarding to the root and stem, internal ecological feature of root stem of hydrophytes plant. So here we firstly see the introduction. So the habit it is a nothing but the external appearance of the organism, and the another term the habitat. So the what is a habitat? Habitat it is a nothing but the environment in which the organism live. Means at which particular climatic condition or the environmental condition where the organism live. Simply the student, the habitat it is a nothing but the dwelling place of organism. So the next I am focusing here the ecological groups. So the group of plants which grows same set of environmental factors or environmental conditions are called the ecological groups. So this is a simple definition, means the organism, okay, specifically we focus here the plants, that plants they live together or the grows at the same set of the environmental condition. So the environmental condition means here regarding to the water, temperature, then salinity, etc. So the student, all of you knows that the water is the universal solvent. Why the water is called the universal solvent? Because water in a plant cell, the protoplasm is there, or we say the cytoplasm is there. In a protoplasm constituent, then 80 to 90% of water is there. The water, it is acting like as the medium of various biochemical reaction takes place within the body of organism. So the water, it is also essential for the photosynthesis process. So the green plant perform the photosynthesis, and this photosynthesis process, so the carbon dioxide and the water is required for the process of photosynthesis. With the help of sunlight and chlorophyll, the green plant synthesize the carbohydrate in the form of glucose. So the water, it is acting as a medium, okay, for various reactions, okay. So according to the water, okay, the different means water, it is also having a place, okay, living place, okay, of the various organism. So water, it is an important factor. So the next I am focusing here the major groups of plants. So on the basis of the water requirements, the plants classified into 4 major groups. The hydrophytes, the student, the hydrophytes we commonly called as aquatic plants. So the hydrophytes, that plants that specifically grows in the plenty of amount of water. So that plant grows inside the water. that plants are called the aquatic plants, or we call the hydrophytes. So the hydrophytes example, there is a Hydrilla is there, then there is a Ceratophyllum is there. Okay, these are some example. So the mesophytes. So the student, mesophytes, it is also called as terrestrial plants. So these plants require the optimum range of water for their survival. So the terrestrial plant, we generally says the land plants, okay, they require the optimum range of water for their survival. So that plants are specifically called the mesophytes. So the example of the mesophytes, like as a mango tree, then banyan tree, rose, hibiscus, these are the mesophytes. So the next student, the next plant group is a xerophyte. So the xerophyte, it is also called as desert plants. So the xerophyte, in this plant group, they require the very little amount of water, or we simply says like that plant grows in a scarcity of water. Means that plant specifically grows at desert condition or desert places. At desert condition, very high temperature is there and very low rainfall is there. And at that situation, there is a scarcity of water is there, and that plant grows in a xeric condition. Okay, so the example of the xerophytic plant, like as Opuntia is there. Okay, then there is Corford, we generally call the Corford plant is there, okay, aloe vera. Then the next plant group, there is a halophytes. So the student, halophytes, that plant, they specifically grows in high salt concentration or saline soil. So the saline soil, what is meant by saline soil? Saline soil, it is a nothing but that plant grows in the high salt concentration. Within the soil, high salt accumulation is there. So the halophytes, specifically the mangroves forest, nearby the coastal areas of the oceans, seas, okay, near the seashores, okay, the mangroves plants are there, like as Avicenna is there, okay. These plants specifically grows in a this halophyte situation. So the student, all these four are the equal means classified the major groups of the plants according to the basis of the requirement of the water. So the next I am focusing here the hydrophytes. So here the what is a hydrophytes? So the plants that grows in a region where there is the plenty of water supply and extremely moist soil condition is there, okay, that plants are called the hydrophytes, or simply we call the aquatic plants. So the student, these aquatic plants further classified into the four categories. Okay, this category is based on the aquatic plant position in the water, okay, and the different conditions. So these categories are the free floating hydrophytes, then rooted hydrophytes with the floating leaves, then next submerged floating hydrophytes, and lastly the marginal or the amphibious hydrophytes. So the student, these four categories we see here one by one. So the first category, the free floating hydrophytes. So these hydrophytes, or that plants freely float on the water surface, and that plants, it is a remain contact with air and water only. Then this plant, they having means the root system, they are poorly developed, or the sometime the roots are absent, okay. So or the root is present, then it is in the form of fibrous root system is there. So the see the example of this plant, like as Azula, Ecornia and Pistia. So the student, all of you see that image in which there is a two plants are there. One is the Ecornia. It is also called as water lily. Okay, so they have a solan petiole. They means above the water surface and the offset below the water surface, and fibrous root system is there. And another plant, that is a Pistia. So the next plant group is the rooted hydrophytes with a floating leaves. This is a second category. So these plants specifically grows in shallow water, and that root it is a fixed into the underwater soil, or we can say the mud surface. Then that plants they have a very long petiole, and the leaves are floating on the water surface. So the example of this plant group like as a nymphea, lotus, okay, so the nilambo and the trapha. So the student, all of you see the image. So there is a nymphea is there and another is a marsilia. So that plants they have a very long petiole, okay. So petiole it is a nothing but the stalk of leaves. It is called the petiole. So that due to the means it's bear the long petiole, and that the leaf surface it is easily float on the water surface. So see the nymphea and marsilia is there. Then the next plant group there is a submerged floating hydrophytes. So the student these plants entire plant body they are under the water surface. So entire plant submerged in a water, and this plant root it is embedded within the soil. So this plant it consisting of the very weak stem and the long stem is there, long cylindrical stem is there, and on that stem at a nodal region that plants they bears a very small sized leaves. So the student these plant example of this plant like as a hydrilla, vallisneria, etc. So the student see the image, there is a hydrilla plant is there, and the potamogeton plant is there, okay. So the hydrilla entire plant they are submerged into the water surface, and it's having a nodes and internals nodes, and at the nodal region there is a walls of the small leaves are present, and see the root fixed within the soil. So this is regarding to the submerged floating hydrophytes. So the student next categories the marginal or the amphibious hydrophytes. So the student these plants specifically grow up in a shallow water bodies. Their roots and some portion of the stem and leaves are submerged in the water, and remaining portion they are exposed aerial branches or aerial portion of the plant it is just above the water surface. So however the some flowering shoots spring well over the water surface. So the student these plants example like as sagittaria is there, ranunculus is there. So in a first image there is a ranunculus is there. See there is a submerged leaves are there, and some are the aerial leaves they are above from the water level, and the roots are there, or we can say the stolon and root they are embedded within the what means soil, okay. So the another plant there is the ranunculus is there. Then the student next I am focusing here the adaptive external feature in hydrophytes. So the student these hydrophytes that plants live in the water, okay, that's why they have some adaptive characters are there, or we can say they have some adaptations are there for the survival of that plants in that particular environmental condition. So the student firstly I am focusing here the external ecological feature of the hydrophyte plant root. So the Wolfia is there, then Salvinia is there, Ceratophyllum is there. These are the aquatic plant, okay. But that plant they do not having a root system. That means the root system completely absent. Then the root hairs are also absent. But if some hydrophytic plant they bears the root here, but it is a poorly developed. So the root caps are absent, or the root caps they specifically replaced by the root pockets. Like as a pistia is there, ecornia is there. These are the example the root caps replaced by the root pockets. Then these plant they specifically bears the adventitious root system. So the taproot system is absent, they specifically bears the adventitious root system. So the lemna, okay, it is a aquatic plant, okay, single leaf. It is a very smallest plant, or we call the smallest angiospermic plant. Okay, so the root acting like as a balancing and the anchoring organ. Okay, so it is easy to float on the water surface and they maintain their balance. So the floating aerial shoots are also present in a plant like as the Jusia repens plant. So the student, these are the some external ecological feature of the root of the hydrophytes. Then the student here, next point I am focusing here, the external ecological feature of the stem of the hydrophytic plant. So the student, the submerged hydrophytic plant, the stem usually the long, cylindrical, thin, and it is a flexible in nature. Example, hydrilla and potamogeton, these are the example. So the student, when you observe the hydrilla stem, the stem is green, or we can say the stem is a herbaceous, okay, and it is a very flexible in nature. So the free floating forms, the stem is slender and it is usually the horizontal on the water surface. They run horizontally. Example, there is azula. Then in some floating form, the stem is a very thick, short and spongy in nature and stoloniferous. Example is Eichhornia. The rooted floating form, the stem is a rhizomatous, and that rhizomatous stem, it is also embedded within the that mud, and example is a nymphia. So this hydrophytic plants stem, okay, it is in the modified form like as a runner is there, stem modification, then stolon, offset. Okay, so the offset, it is nothing but the runner of aquatic plant, it is called the offset. Example is Eichhornia, they have a offset, it is run the horizontally. Okay, so these are the vegetative organs, okay, or vegetative plant parts. They specifically helps in a vegetative propagation. So the student, see, this is regarding to the external ecological feature of the stem, specifically the aquatic plant stem. So the next, I am focusing here the adaptive internal features in hydrophytes. So adaptive internal features means the internal means we can see here the anatomy. So what is the anatomy? Anatomy, it is a nothing but the study of internal organization of the plant's body. So they specifically consisting of the variety of tissues and tissue systems. So the firstly, the internal ecological feature of the root. So when we see that, when we take a section of the hydrophytes roots, okay, so the internal, when we observe the internal part of the section, so the cuticle, okay, cuticle specifically absent, okay, so it's having the outermost layer, it is called the epidermis, okay, so the epidermis, it is a single layer and it is made up of the parenchymatous cell. Then next to the epidermis, there is a cortex region is there. So the student, this cortex, it is made up of the parenchyma cells, and the cortex, it is not that parenchyma cells are evenly distributed or homogeneous distribution. They have a large number of air cavities, or we can say the air chambers are present. So that air cavity or air chamber, they fill up with the air or the gases, or it is called as parenchyma. Why it is called the parenchyma? Because they fill with the gas or air. Okay, then next there is what is the function of this parenchyma? Gases exchange takes place and it's also offer the buoyancy to the plant. Okay, and that's why that plant, it is easily float on the water surface. So the student, in these hydrophyte plant root, the vascular tissues, you know, the vascular tissues, there are two types of vascular tissues are there. One is a xylem. Xylem, it is helps in a conduction of water and minerals, while the phloem, it is helps in the conduction of food material. So the vascular tissues, xylem and phloem, are poorly developed in the root system. So the students, see, this is the TS of the nymphia root. Okay, so the outer, I'm already explained that outer epidermis is there. Then next to the epidermis, it is followed by the cortex. So the cortex, they have a lacunas are there. Okay, so there is a air cavities are there, large air cavities. It is called the parenchyma. Then inner cortex is there. It is also parenchymatous, and the endodermis. Then centrally the pith region is there. Okay, and these xylem tissues and phloem tissues are poorly developed in a vascular bundle. So the student, next I am focusing here the adaptive internal feature in hydrophytes, the point, the internal ecological feature of the stem. So when we take a very thin section of the stem, then cuticle, it is absent. So epidermis is there. Epidermis, it is the outermost protective layer. Epidermis is made up of the single layer and it is a parenchymatous. So the rhizome, okay, so the stem modified into the rhizome, example of the plant Nymphia and Nulumbus. Okay, so the cortex of this rhizome, it is a well developed cortex and it is also made up of the parenchymatous cells. So the cortex, okay, so the cortex, it is a very big cortex is there, and it is divided into the outer cortex and inner cortex. Okay, so the outer cortex, it is made up of the chlorenchymatous. So the chlorenchymatous, for example hydrilla, okay, the cortex is the chlorenchymatous, because that cortex cell, it consisting of the chloroplast. Okay, and the chloroplast bearing cell, they also perform the photosynthesis. So the student, next to the outer cortex, there is an inner cortex is there. That inner cortex, it is made up of the parenchymatous cell, but that cell are not evenly distributed. Okay, so they leave the very large spaces are there. It is nothing but the air cavity, or we call the air chambers. Okay, or simply we call the parenchyma. So the next to the cortex region, there is what the vascular region is there. So the vascular bundles are very smaller in size and they are scattered in the cortex. Then the mechanical tissues, like as the lignified cells are there, sclerenchyma. Okay, these mechanical tissues, okay, sclerenchyma, these are the absent. Then see, this is the adaptive external feature in a hydrilla stem. So the outer, see the student image, focus on the image. Epidermis, outer epidermis, okay, they do not having a cuticle. Then there is a cortex region is there. It is a outer cortex, it is a chlorenchymatous, and inner cortex, it is a parenchymatous, and they have a parenchyma tissues, and the vascular tissues, the xylem and phloem are poorly developed. Okay, and it is surrounded by the single layer of endodermis. Okay, so the student, see, this is regarding to the what the internal feature of the hydrilla stem. So the student, in this session, we already seen the various characters of the hydrophytes, then the categories of the hydrophytes, and we will already discuss here the external feature of the hydrophyte root, then external feature of the hydrophyte stem, then internal structure of hydrophyte root and internal structure of hydrophyte stem. So on the today's lecture, okay, so the some questions are arises on this today's topic. Okay, so I'm focusing here that questions. So that questions are given in the session, the student assignment session. Okay, so the first question is, what are the ecological grouping of the plant, and give the suitable example. Then question number second, and list the various types of the plant groups based on the water requirement. Then question number 3, give external ecological feature of hydrophytes root and stem. Then question number 4 is, give the external adaptive feature of hydrophytes root, and the question number 5 is, give the internal adaptive feature of hydrophyte stem. So the student, these are the question. You solve this question, and you make the PDF and you upload our respective Google Classroom. So see, this is regarding to the student assignment session. Then, thank you.